If you don't consider a biological male to be a woman, you're transphobic. If you're a gay man who doesn't want to date or marry a trans man, you're transphobic. If you don't want kids making life-altering decisions that could irreversibly damage their bodies for the rest of their lives, you're transphobic. If you're a biological woman who objects to being called cisgendered, you're a bigot. And if you've transitioned, regretted your medical procedure, and are using your voice and your platform to warn other people about the dangers, you're considered dangerous, a traitor, stupid, and transphobic. Am I missing anything else? The most tolerant group on planet Earth has shown a propensity to cancel, bully, and get violent towards anyone who expresses any type of concern about the community. And if you think it's just straight people who are having issues with these attitudes, you're wrong. Every single day, gays, lesbians, and bisexuals, fed up with the tone and tenor of the LGBTQIA+ community, are announcing that they're either leaving the community entirely or they just don't want any part of it.
It's getting out of hand, and truth be told, the gay community does not speak on my behalf.
Take a quick search on YouTube and you'll find not only videos, but comments from lesbians, gays, and bisexuals who are saying, you know what, I think the time has come to split up. And you may be wondering, well, why is it that they want to go their own separate way? They've been together for a number of years. Well, many of them cite violent outbursts, attacks from trans activists, and many have expressed serious and deep concerns for the safety and well-being of children.
If someone asked me in passing, Amir, do you support the gay community? I would say no.
Now, before we get started, please know that you may see some disturbing images and hear uncomfortable conversations about the LGBTQIA+ community. Now, the goal of this video is not to bash this community. The goal of this video is to have open, civil, and brutally honest conversations regarding the movement. I'll also attempt to explain why there is this growing dissent in the LGBTQIA+ community, not just from those on the outside, but those on the inside. We good? Let's go.
What does that even mean when your pronouns are he, they?
Well, it's Michael Jackson and a lot of people.
There are so many reasons why gays, lesbians, and bisexuals are starting to disassociate from the community as a whole. Quite frankly, there are even trans activists that want nothing to do with it. Many have taken exception to the radical, cult-like mentality that many of them in the community have taken on. One slip-up courtesy of a 10-year-old tweet, a joke on stage.
Does this make me gay? I was at the mall.
And even a mistake in a game store can cost someone their career, reputation, and safety.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Now let's start with how the community goes about demanding acceptance and how it handles dissent. Not everybody is going to agree with the lifestyle, be it gay or trans, but that's just the world we live in. Not everyone is going to be comfortable with your existence, and this is not something that is exclusive to the LGBTQIA+ community. Black people, for example, are one of the most hated groups on the planet Earth. They are hated in all four corners of the earth for hundreds of years. The Jews, let them tell you their story. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like you, isn't comfortable with your existence, or doesn't want you in their space. But does that give you carte blanche to attack them? No. Bullying people online or in person is never a good long-term strategy. It's not even a good short-term strategy. It's not an immediate strategy. It's just dumb. And for a lot of gays, and let's just take straight people out of it. A lot of gays, lesbians, and bisexuals don't like that. They think it makes the community look bad, and it does. The LGBs have advocated for years to be able to marry the person that they love, to be able to adopt, to not be discriminated against when they are seeking housing, insurance, or medical advice or medical procedures. They've been advocating for these things for years. They just want a world where they can coexist. But the loudmouthed, aggressive, and sometimes violent TQIA+ activists, they're hijacking the movement. There are so many of these activists who take the most benign statements and turn them into dangerous commentary. Ordinary questions and concerns are immediately labeled transphobic and homophobic, and I honestly believe that the community does it as a way of shutting people down, shutting down the conversation, having people not speak out about certain things. All in all, it's just a way of controlling people. You know what's so funny, and I never thought I'd see the day when this would come? But so many people who did not like lesbians, gays, and bisexuals are all of a sudden like, no, come with us. We can reason with you. Like, sorry we ever said any of that stuff. No, we can reason with you. We can coexist. And I think it was these radical trans activists who stepped into the arena, what made them say, you know what, you guys aren't so bad. Let's talk about the LGBTQIA plus community and children. So many LGBs don't like the direction that the community is going in as it relates to children, particularly when we have kids dressing up in drag or performing at pride parades. Many have said it's basically grooming. One of the things, and I never liked this, never, but one of the things a lot of heterosexuals have a tendency to do in the past, and they still do it, is to link pedophilia with the LGBTQIA plus community. And I absolutely hate that. It's something that many people in the LGBTQIA plus community have rejected, and they get extremely upset about this. And I can't blame them for getting upset, because pedophilia is not something that just is exclusive to any community. It happens everywhere. It happens in all communities. I have to admit that I am not comfortable seeing children scantily dressed and parading up and down in the street or even on a stage as drag. I feel like children should be children, left alone. If that's something they want to do when they're of age, you're free to go and do it. But as a child, absolutely not. And it really bothers me that parents are encouraging this. I mean, you have parents who are celebrating their children doing these things. I feel like we have too many people in the world who are predators, who are seeking out children. And I just don't want to give them anything, I don't want to put children out there like that. I don't like that. And it always bothers me that parents think that's cool. We have parents who celebrate the fact that their children are in pride parades performing, in lascivious manners. Sometimes they're twerking, or they're doing movements that look very adult-ish. I don't like that. I think the parents need to be checked for that. You'll also see children dressing and posing in very adult-like manner. It almost looks like kiddie porn when you look at some of it. I don't like it at all. Okay, so moving on. Many LGBs and trans folks have been sounding the alarm on children transitioning. Do a quick YouTube search and you'll see video upon video of people regretting gender reassignment surgery. And many say that the complications that they suffered as a result are the main reasons why they don't want children to make this mistake. Many who undergo transfeminine bottom surgery talk about the infections that they've gotten, the nerve injuries, problems with the vagina that lead to painful intercourse or shallow depth, not being able to self-lubricate the vagina the way a woman's vagina does. Some trans women's vaginas close up altogether. I had always heard about gender reassignment surgery, but to be honest with you, a lot of it remained a mystery. Now, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I'm going to admit it anyway. A lot of what I learned about it the very first time came courtesy of a Love and Hip Hop Atlanta episode. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but there was a cast member some seasons ago, and her name was Sydney Starr. And she went to the doctor to talk about having transfeminine bottom surgery. And just listening to the doctor speak about what could happen, what all is involved, that scared the hell out of me. Okay, let's watch.
Before we go any further, I need to warn you about the risks of surgery.
Okay, what is it?
When we're making that pocket for the vagina, it is possible that we can injure the rectum
Oh my God.
accidentally
Really?
and make a hole in one of those structures. We don't want that to happen because
Wait.
because when it does, poop, instead of coming out through the anus, can come out through the vagina.
Are you freaking serious? It sounds like there's a lot more to this procedure than I even knew.
I'm sorry, Doc. What'd you say? Fecal matter coming through the vagina? Oh!
All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out.
And Sydney Starr was not the only one. Just listen to these interviews back to back of people who have talked about transitioning and their deep regrets.
You've had the surgery. What does it feel like to miss your penis?
I 100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment. I wish somebody hugged me a few years back and be like, you know what, you can present feminine, you can wear heels, hair, whatever you want, but the sad reality, we don't have technology to make you an actual woman. But they kind of like didn't protect me from myself.
When I talk about being too far gone, this is what I mean. This is what I mean by hair loss. And it just keeps getting worse. It keeps thinning. It keeps receding backwards. I don't really see me personally being able to come back from what's happened.
So about a year and a half after I was on hormones, I decided to see a therapist about getting approval for top surgery. I walked in on one appointment for half an hour, and then she emailed my insurance for approval, just like that. Even at this point, when I was passing as a man, I still had these doubts in the back of my mind that said, what if you're wrong? What if you made a mistake?
Everyone in my life immediately affirmed my new identity, either out of full support for it or just to stay neutral and not cause any issues. And I thought that in the end I could really become a man, but all I became was a mutilated and abused version of my old self. This is a big decision with lifelong consequences, and New Hampshire doesn't even require that parents be involved. If the roles of mother and father don't include authority over the emotional, social, and physical future of their children, the roles no longer mean anything.
I think that was one of the saddest things I've ever heard. You know, to hear someone say, I wish someone would have saved me from myself. There are so many people who are sounding the alarm on kids transitioning. And you know what happens every time they do that? Even if they say so in a nice way, they're immediately labeled transphobic. Nobody wants to be labeled that, especially if they're not. If they are, then fine. But if they're not, and they're just showing care and concern, you know, kids can't go to the store and buy cigarettes. They cannot go to the store and buy alcohol. They cannot go into a tattoo parlor and get tattoos. But for some reason, we can listen to an 8-year-old tell us that they want to transition and be like, well, I'm just going to affirm whatever she's saying. Come on. I think it's time to stop taking cues from children. Another reason why the LGBs are starting to distance themselves, and many of them have been distancing themselves from the community, is because it's proven to be an all or nothing community. Either you're with us or you're against us. And there's no room, no latitude to be with someone and disagree. That is dangerous. That is dangerous. It's like a community that preaches love and acceptance will love you and accept you when you agree with what they're saying. But even if you're in the community and you say something, you speak out, then all of a sudden it's hatred and ostracization. There is no latitude to disagree. Anyone who highlights a concern is ostracized, rejected, hated on, bullied, harassed, possibly attacked. We saw what happened with Riley Gaines. And a lot of lesbians, gays, and bisexuals just don't want to be a part of that. They're like, I'm throwing my hands in the air. Y'all go over there. I'll stay over here. I just want to live my life. I don't want to be a part of this community. What that bullying does is it leads to a lot of silence. You have a lot of people, I'm not gay, I'm heterosexual, and you have a lot of heterosexual who have viewpoints, and they will never express themselves, particularly on a platform like this, because they don't have the maturity level. There's no maturity in them to understand that people can disagree on certain points and not hate you and not have a fear of you. They will immediately slap this label on you. And while we're talking about it, when you're talking about transphobic, I think people think that disagreeing or any sort of dissent means that you're transphobic. No, if I don't have an irrational and extreme fear of people who are trans, I have no issue with people who are trans. I believe people should live however they want to live, as long as it's safe and as long as it's not affecting somebody else. Go and live your best life. Homophobic? For what? Why do I have to hate someone because of what they're doing in their bedroom or who they love? I would never do that. But if I have concerns or I disagree with someone, that does not make me homophobic. That doesn't make you homophobic. But again, this goes back to what I said earlier about how they silence people by branding them with these labels, and they know that people are just going to kind of quiet down and they're not going to say anything. There are so many people who have amazing contributions to make, but they're fearful, they're afraid, they don't want to get involved because they don't want people to label them with these horrible labels. Even gays, trans people, and lesbians and bisexuals are destroyed online whenever they speak up. They're considered traitors. People say, you're a traitor, like, you're not in this community, as if they can excommunicate someone, they can just toss them out. It's just so funny to me. Even companies aren't immune, which is why so many of them do everything in their power to attract this community and pacify this community and not say anything, not speak out of turn. And it's fake. It's virtue signaling. It's not going to be a long-term strategy because it's not what they want to do. But pendulums swing, as they always do, far left and far right, and it takes a while to get to the center so we can have some balance. That's the way pendulums go. There was a time when, the LGBTQIA plus community was so strong, and I felt like, they were fighting for a cause, and a cause that I could certainly understand. Now it just seems like it's hive mentality and it's bullying, and I could never be with that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you think the LGBs should go their own way from the TQIA plus community, or do you think they should stay together because there's strength in numbers? If you are gay, I'd especially love to hear from you all. Let me know what you think of the community and the way it's progressed or regressed over the past few decades. Do you like the direction in which the community is heading? Let me know down below. If you're straight, please weigh in as well about your experience with the community. Have you been bullied? Let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you did not enjoy it, give it a thumbs down. I really don't care. It's all engagement to me, and I want the truth from you all. Oh, before I go, while you are free to comment and I want to hear your opinions, there are certain things that I will not tolerate on my channel. I will not tolerate profanity. I will not tolerate bullying. I will not tolerate you misgendering anybody. I'm also not going to tolerate extremism and any sort of bullying of other people who may be commenting. So, if you're going to comment, you're going to respond to someone, please do so civilly, because this is what conversation is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this radical, extreme foolishness. We should be able to have civil discourse and really get our points across. So thank you once again for watching my channel. For those of you, I should have said this at the beginning, but if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Rogan, and this is This Bahamian Gyal. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and on TikTok at This Bahamian Gyal TBG. My other handles are This Bahamian Gyal. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye. Mwah.